In this video, we are seeking paradise in Ensenada, Mexico. It's a sought-after beach town in the Baja California Peninsula where we experienced many of its treasures, from getting sprayed by a geyser to hanging out with exotic fur babies. We drank lots of delicious wine in Valle de Guadalupe, Ensenada's wine country, and enjoyed amazing seafood. Let's see what all the buzz is about and how Ensenada rates on our dream home requirement checklist.
We are super excited to visit Ensenada, surrounded by the Pacific Ocean and the Sea of Cortez. It is a port city and locally referred to as the Cinderella of the Pacific. This time we flew into Tijuana International Airport on Viva Aerobus. It's a typical discount airline, not the most comfortable, but the service was good.
We arrived and decided to take a quick detour to the Centro Cultural Tijuana to appreciate some of Mexico's history in the Museo de las Californias exhibition. We also admired the pre-Hispanic style garden called Jardín Caracol, or Snail Garden, where Mesoamerican sculptures are on display.
Let's take a look at our Paradise Requirement Checklist and find out how Ensenada ranks in the search for a forever home.
Walkability,
Short walks to markets and shops.
average weather,
Nothing lower than 65 degrees and no hotter than 80.
cost of living,
Has to be low and affordable.
transportation,
Subway, bus, Uber, bike lanes. No more than 45 minutes away from an international airport.
distance to the beach,
Ideally, less than 2-hour drive.
home prices,
Under $200,000 US to buy or less than $1,000 a month to rent.
safety and security,
We want to be able to walk at night, good police presence,
things to do,
outdoor activities, music, art scene,
good medical care.
close to major hospital and low insurance premiums.
We added a more detailed breakdown in the video's description below.
Off we go to rent a car. We've seen those $2, even $1 online rental rates, but don't be surprised to find out it's not like that at all. In Mexico, you are required to have at least liability insurance, and the rental company will add the collision premium coverage at the time of your pickup. You can waive the collision damage and other insurance if you have coverage by an insurance company or credit card of your own. But Mexican law requires cars not to be moved in an accident until the insurance adjusters physically come to the scene and determine the driver at fault. If you don't have any insurance company to call at the moment, you could actually end up in a Mexican jail until everything is sorted out with a rental company, because in their eyes, you are responsible to pay for all the damages to the car. We didn't want to take any chances, so we purchased the very basic insurance coverage. We took the scenic route down to our Airbnb.
Our Airbnb was central and in an accessible area. We were impressed with how cozy and clean it was. Still early in the afternoon, we took a stroll through the Ensenada streets. Safety seems highly regarded in the area, according to Numbeo.com.
If you were living in the center of town, you can easily get to stores like Walmart, Costco, and Home Depot. But generally, it seems you need a car to get you around Ensenada and the things to do. There is no shortage of restaurants. Mexican seafood is delicious. Make sure you try the famous La Guerrarense, a street stall named the best in the entire world.
Prices were a bit more expensive than we're used to in Guadalajara. I'm sure that has to do with so many snowbirds and expats living in the area from Canada and the US. Even young Californians escape the higher cost of living and purchase homes south of the border, yet still are able to work in California. In regards to healthcare in Ensenada, Mexico has only two options for health insurance: public insurance and private health insurance. While living in Guadalajara for the time being, we opted for private insurance for emergencies, and we pay out of pocket for regular checkups and casual doctor visits. We are learning how good and inexpensive healthcare can be in Mexico.
The next day, we took on an exciting adventure at the Pai Pai Ecotourism Park. We started with an early lunch feast at the on-premise La Suculenta restaurant. I couldn't get enough of the lobster,
but we didn't fancy the higher than average prices.
With full bellies, we walked to the Hermanitos Pet and Zoo section of the park. These animals were adorable. They seemed well fed and in a clean environment. And the best of all, to check this experience off my bucket list, we headed to the Wild Kitty section.
This experience was bittersweet for me, and it raised a lot of questions. The caretakers were knowledgeable and seemed to love the animals, but I could not find confirmation about where they came from and where they go when grown. I will be researching the sanctuaries and their purpose for our future trips so we can help support them.
Bruised, battered, yet super excited, we continue our drive to the Punta Banda Peninsula to witness one of nature's natural wonders. But first, we had to endure the heckling and hollering of the local overpriced vendors as we walked through the main road. Then we begin to appreciate the views and the sound of the crashing waves. This is La Bufadora. A famous blowhole and one of Ensenada's top attractions.
The combination of the waves crashing, the radiant sun, and the deep blue ocean makes this experience even more stunning. The next morning, talk about luck! Across the street from us at the Marina Coral, we ran into the Festival de las Conchas y el Vino Nuevo, New Wine and Oyster Festival. We were impressed with all of the delicious shellfish and amazing wines. It's a must-do if you visit in early April or May.
The summer's calling. The summer's calling. If the kingdom is overthrown, meet me at the cornerstone. I know that I can't be without you. This bond is solid gold. We're a diamond and an emerald. It took me forever to find you. 'Cause when it's all over, the love that you give will be there to guide you in every way. Now we've been through the cold and darkest days. The summer's calling.
We did a little bit of real estate research with the help of Gaby Victorica Hurtado. There are several types of homes in Ensenada, with good prices and less expensive than Guadalajara. Depends on what you're looking for. There's plenty to choose from. There's also lots of new construction and land for sale. You can get pre-construction prices if you decide to go with a new build. Rents for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom are between 10,000 and 15,000 pesos. We can definitely find a nice home for our budget in Ensenada.
In the afternoon, we headed north to Valle de Guadalupe, Mexico's wine country.
I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling.
Thanks to Gaby again for providing this intimate tour through La Ruta del Vino, about 40 minutes away from downtown Ensenada and 70 miles from the San Diego border. There are over 100 wineries in Valle de Guadalupe. We started with our favorite Las Nubes Bodegas y Viñedos.
But it's all because I'm falling, 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 falling,
We finished the day at a cozy, family-owned winery, El Corcho Rosa.
Started to fall, and where were you? How could I know you were falling too? Grabbing the wind, cutting my skin.
We are back in Guadalajara. Scouting in Ensenada was a wonderful experience. It is a small beach town with a California flair and full of delicious seafood. We visited during the all-season, so the town and activities were quiet with no wait time.
Ensenada meets 7 out of 10 of our paradise requirements. Although it ranks ahead of Mazatlan and Montevideo, we can tell you it falls short on very important categories to us.
While the town itself is completely walkable, several of the best things to do around Ensenada require a vehicle. All the means of transportation are available, but since places are rather spread out, it can become expensive.
And we were hoping not to have a car. The distance to the airport is almost 2 hours away too, and that would not work for us since we travel so much.
Right. The actual town of Ensenada doesn't have the amount of diverse gastronomy and variety of entertainment that we enjoy. We were actually able to do most of the activities that we were interested in during the week that we were there. We did fall in love with the beach views and tasty seafood, but unfortunately it's not enough to consider it our paradise.
We will be returning to Ensenada though, especially for long weekends in Valle de Guadalupe and whale watching nearby. Many US and Canadian retirees and snowbirds find this to be their paradise, and it's definitely worth a visit to find out if it's yours.
Stay tuned for more videos. We have a couple more Mexican cities to visit, and then we'll be scouting Europe and search for our forever home.
Thank you for watching our video. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss our next one. Adios.